All right, everyone. We start off today talking about influenceable, actually. Um, this appears to be a little bit of an astroturf when you think about it. Link in the description. I'm not going to archive it. It's just a Facebook post. I'm going to read some of this verbatim. Nick Sortor breaking this news. And I'm going to read his tweet out directly. Exposed, influenceable. The company cutting big checks to influencers on behalf of Big Soda. We're going to get into the SNAP benefits thing in a moment. Over the past 48 hours, several large, supposedly MAGA-aligned influencers post almost identical talking points fed to them, convincing you Maha was out of line, that's Make America Healthy Again, for not wanting soda purchases with food stamps or SNAP benefits. Some even slimily invoked President Trump as an emotional manipulation tactic, referring to his Diet Coke button. Not a single one of them disclosed they were paid for these posts, which led readers to believe a general soda ban was in the works. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty, the actual details of what's happening. A number of states, and I've got another article up, and I will be giving the list out. There are 10 states that are trying at the state level to prevent people who are on food stamp benefits from getting, Coca-Cola and stuff like that with them. Now, this is actually interesting. There was a brief period of time back when I was very poor that I had no choice but to take food stamps. And don't worry, I've paid it back to the government 1,000 times over. But it was interesting. You could get certain energy drinks, but you couldn't get certain others because it depended on whether the FDA artificially labeled it a supplement or not. It made absolutely no sense whatsoever. So, I mean, it's a broken system to begin with. Generally speaking, I was getting like canned soups and stuff like that. Again, I had no choice. I was dirt poor. I was completely destitute, and so I don't have any real shame in it. Again, I've paid my way back into the system. Here's a list of states that are involved here. This is from a Sun article. Arizona, Arkansas, Idaho, Iowa, Missouri, Montana, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and West Virginia. These are states in which there are either initiatives or, in a couple of cases, has already passed, where they're trying to prevent people from using food stamps to buy soda products. I actually approve of this. I think that it is a good idea. And it's not from a health standpoint. It's more from the standpoint that if you need to have SNAP, if you need to have food stamps, the focus should be on getting real nutrition. So canned soups and dried beans and stuff. Maybe you have a kitchen, maybe you don't. If you're that poor that you need food stamps, you probably don't have necessarily the ability to cook. You might have a microwave oven or something like that. And I have sympathy for that because I've been in the same situation. So I'm not as judgmental as some people that are supposedly conservative commentators. I know what it's like to be poor. It fucking sucks. But you can survive on the kind of food that you're capable of getting with those benefits. But if you're using it all on soda, that's a little bit different. But meanwhile, legacy media is trying to blame Trump for this, saying it's a federal initiative when these are states at the state level that are actually doing it. And in at least a couple of these cases, with regards to this post, the individuals removed their posts did not appear to have been taking money. I think I know what happened. I think I know exactly what happened. The basic premise may have been paid for initially, but then other creators replicated it and used their own verbiage, of course. And there's no evidence in several of these cases that these individuals were actually paid at all. For example, clownworld on Twitter. I do not believe that he's going to take a fall and backstab MAGA, especially when it doesn't have to do with a federal policy, simply to get the amount of money that's being mentioned, which is like, oh, it might get $1,000. You think that somebody with that kind of audience needs $1,000? Yeah, they're going to take a fall for what for me would be, a decent amount of money, but what for a larger content creator would be literally peanuts. Don't think so. I have a feeling that this is nothing more than a psyop, actually. I think that this is sort of like when left-wingers pretend that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are at odds, and they try to astroturf that concept so that people that are Team Trump or Team Elon, generally speaking, so the Tesla owner versus the Trump stake buyer, will fight each other. They're trying to cause division more than anything else. That's my read on it. That's what I believe is honestly happening when I look through the articles, and then when I see how quickly the articles happen to be coming out, I can only conclude that there is some central organizational aspect to it. I've seen this before. It's happened 1,000 fucking times before. What happens is you get a central idea, and the odd thing is it's projection in this case. You get a central idea, a central sort of attack strategy, and then you disseminate it through multiple networks, and then, you go all in. The oddity in this particular case is that the claim of centrality is being made about various content creators. I have no reason to believe that these particular individuals were actually being uh, influenceable, so to speak. It's possible, but even then, when I look at the actual bills that are being passed, again, at the state level, so this is not a federal policy, it's something that's being at the state level. When I look at the actual policy, it makes sense. I don't see anything wrong with it. What's wrong with preventing people from buying junk food with their SNAP benefits? Some of these people have kids and shit like that. Well, then at least get them some soup or something like that. That's what you should be focusing on. It should be meat and dairy, plenty of milk. You're going to need that when you have kids, especially. Meat and dairy, green vegetables, fruits, things like that. It shouldn't be used on fucking candy. There's no reason for it. When I was again, on food stamps, other than buying occasionally energy drinks, the rest of it was used for like wholesome stuff. It was mainly used for like canned soups and things like that. Now I realize that those aren't the healthiest foods you can get either. They're full of preservatives. Like my lentil soup is definitely healthier than the shit you're getting from Progresso. But is it reasonable? Is it fortifying? Is there a good amount of protein? Is there a good amount of fiber? Are there vitamins and minerals in it? Yes. Ultimately, therefore, at the end of the day, it's a better purchase than if you're buying butterscotch candy or Coca-Cola or something like that. So actually, I stand in support of the basic premise of the bills that are being passed. But these are state level. They are not federal level. It's true. It's possible that all of these people were paid to post on behalf of the idea in order to prop up a federal pressure campaign on the states. But ultimately, it's going to be the states that are arbiters of this more than the federal government. Yes, the federal government has the ability to weigh in on the SNAP program. Trump has, so far, it seems, not made a considerable effort to really ram it forward. And if he did, all of a sudden, and this would be absolutely fucking hysterical, all of a sudden leftoids would be saying, no, you're violating our constitutional rights because you're not allowing poor people to drink Coca-Cola or something like that. It would be hilarious. So I hope that it continues. I hope that that actually happens because that would definitely not be a slow news day. That would be a whole goddamn live stream. So yeah, so in this particular case, I don't see any evidence of these particular creators and others that are unmentioned in the post actually simping for big soda in order to make a buck. I can't imagine. If you've got 500,000 people following you on Twitter, you probably do not need to take a fall for a grand or something like that. It wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. And you can, if that's really what you're inclined to do, after taxes, you get about, $500 probably. But I don't know. I just don't see any great scandal here. And yet I see people replicating the story. And I think it's because some of these people are hate watching these particular individuals. And some of them, I believe, are liberal agitators. So they're not actual right wingers that are calling them out and saying, hey, this is wrong, it's bad. I think some of them are on the left and they're trying to stir up shit. We have seen this a fucking dozen times with just liberal legacy media reporting between Trump and Musk. They're trying to crack things apart to make them less effective. They're also using lawfare at the same time. That's about all. Peace out.